T-Caro in Calypso Finals.
The remote control that.
Hi there, this is T-Caro, your 2019 Calypso Monarch. I am a living example that success comes through hard work and determination. You may experience some failures and you may have to press restart. If you do nothing and remain on pause, you definitely cannot be productive. Productivity measures how effectively you are getting the job done over how efficiently you are using your resources, like my writer and my skills. If you're not being productive as of now, it is time to change the channel. Stay productive, remain competitive, and let your remote control that. Tell them, King T-Caro, say that.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, embracing excellence.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Morning Brew live on NTN. We're coming to you live, not from the studio, the GIS studio, but rather from the Finance Administrative Center. And we're following up on day 2 of the NCPC's Productivity Awareness Week. It's day 2. They have activities for today, a panel discussion from 10 a.m. as the education system, gaps, weaknesses, opportunities during and post COVID-19. That's the theme that they're going with. And later on this evening at 8 p.m. They will be having a video feature, the digital currency and cashless transactions, pluses and minuses for economic resilience. Again, we continue with the observance of Productivity Awareness Week. And things got off to a wonderful start yesterday with the launch of Productivity Awareness Week. We had the launching ceremony as well as a panel discussion which followed at 2 p.m. and a video feature later on that evening. We encourage you to stay tuned to what the NCPC has to offer this week in terms of sensitizing the general public on productivity, what it means for your business space, what it means for our economy here in St. Lucia. We didn't open with our Morning Brew graphic. We instead opened with the Productivity Awareness Week intro. So all going towards the awareness of this week's observance. Still, we are bringing you the latest updates coming from the government of St. Lucia, and we're using the time before the start of activities for the week's observance to bring that to you right now. My name is Jessie Leonce. A special welcome to you again. If you're watching on air, online, if you're on the go, just remember we're on YouTube and Facebook. You could carry us with you on your phone to ensure that you get what's the latest from the government. If you are a resident of St. Lucia, good morning to you. St. Lucians in the diaspora, we welcome you as well. It is important that you know what's happening in your homeland. Castries to Viewfort commuters who use public transport are being urged to get tested amid a possible COVID-19 community spread. We reiterate, we re-emphasize, we remind the general public of this very serious matter that has arisen. We'll get to the details of that in just a moment. We also got word that arrangements have been made for the minibus operators to get tested as well. We heard from the NCOPT president yesterday speaking on that. We'll get to that in a while. Also, St. Lucia records its first death from the viral infection, dengue. We have a clip from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sharon Belmar-George, on that. We also have a statement by the Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, on the continuation of the school term amid the COVID-19 circumstances. And the St. Lucia Social Development Fund extends the Our Boys Matter mentorship program to the south of the island. Do stay tuned. We have the details to these stories and more coming up on the other end of this break.
COVID-19 has been disastrous for our economy and our productivity.
But it has caused us to reset, rethink, and innovate.
Productivity Awareness Week 2020 will focus on building collective resilience in tourism, infrastructure, and the financial sector.
Rethink our approach to the agriculture, manufacturing, and the health sector.
It calls for innovation in education and taking advantage of opportunities in the digital economy.
Telework for greater resilience and productivity.
Join the discussions during Productivity Awareness Week from October 12th to the 16th.
Under the theme, Building Resilience Through Collective Action.
Reset.
Rethink.
Innovate.
Join the discussions live on Facebook at St. Lucia NCPC, the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, embracing excellence.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. Today is Tuesday, the 13th of October 2020, and we continue with day 2 of the Productivity Awareness Week of activities. We are coming to you live from the Finance Administrative Center at the in downtown Castries, and we do hope that you stay tuned for what's to come for today's slate of activities. We continue with news from the government of St. Lucia. St. Lucians have been placed on a public health alert following the recording of the 29th case of COVID-19 on island. A 48-year-old male minibus operator, we hope many of you are aware of this by now, tested positive after seeking care at a respiratory clinic. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George says that this case poses high risk to St. Lucia, given the possibility for community spread. Health authorities are yet to determine the source of this infection and are urging commuters on public transportation, especially on the 2H Castries to Viewfort route, to visit the respiratory clinics for testing. We'll go to our first clip for the morning from the Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George during the update to the nation on Sunday night.
Come in, get assessed, get tested. We're trying as much as possible to widen the net of the possibilities of persons coming through between Viewfort and Castries. So we made available those extended clinics from Viewfort, Dennery, Leclerc as well, Wellness Center, to ensure that we can manage. We've also set up testing and assessments within the community as well to make it easier access for persons who may have been concerned or possible contacts of those cases.
Despite the high risk of community spread from this latest case, Dr. Belmar George did indicate that at this time there is not sufficient evidence to restrict the movement of nationals by way of a curfew or lockdown. We state again, there is no curfew, there is no lockdown, there is no evidence to institute such. Adherence to the protocols, however, will keep us all safe. And we reiterate the use of the hand sanitizers, washing of the hands when you are in public, the wearing of your mask, observing the 6-foot distance. We need to act as if COVID-19 is among us, because the reality is that based on this latest case, it may be. We go to our second clip from the CMO.
The information that we have in terms of our results, we're not finished all of the results. We have not finished our assessment of the situation. I don't think we have enough information to make such a recommendation.
How would we know when?
We anticipate after a few days of testing, then we'll be able to give a better idea of the impact.
So are we looking at numbers in terms of testing? If we say we've tested 1,000 people, we looking what sample size are we looking at?
We're looking at about 500 to see what percentage, what positivity rate we get from at least 500. So maybe in the next few days we'll get a better idea of what the level of spread may be. But notwithstanding, our protocols are robust enough that if they are followed and if we get adherence to them, even with community spread, the need for a full shutdown would not be necessary. And I'm saying that, although when I say community spread, it all depends. Is it sporadic cases? Is it a huge community? It all depends on how the level of spread is. Such a decision would be made. Such a recommendation would be made.
Once again, anyone who traveled from the 2H Castries to Viewfort route via minibus M8481 during the period Monday, September 28th, 2020 to Friday, October 9th, 2020 is advised, strongly urged to visit the respiratory clinics for assessment. The 5 existing respiratory clinics are the Grosile Polyclinic, the Leclerc Wellness Center, the Dennery Hospital, the Viewfort Wellness Center, and the Suffre Hospital. Individuals who are unable to visit the clinics can call the 311 hotline for assistance. Now, we also have the Chief Medical Officer speaking on the dengue situation in St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health and Wellness's response to it, as well as an appeal to the populace. We have that coming up in just a moment. Meantime, minibus operators island-wide are getting tested for coronavirus. Health officials made arrangements for the testing to begin on Sunday, 11th October 2020, a day after the COVID diagnosis of their counterpart. President of the National Council of Public Transportation, Godfrey Ferdinand, my apologies, encourages operators to not panic and avail themselves as health officials conduct investigations and contact tracing activities. So I sat down with Mr. Ferdinand yesterday morning, and he spoke in light of this recent circumstance.
I must say we had a very good response from the operators, and the testing will continue today and into tomorrow because, again, manpower is a factor. Also, we have this stigma that and all the propaganda going across, whether it is true or false. So you would have individuals being a bit reluctant. There are also persons that are fearful naturally of any kind of test. So we are still working on encouraging individuals to go and get this particular test done.
On Sunday's update to the nation regarding this latest COVID-19 case and also touching on the dengue situation, we did have the Commissioner of Police, Severin Marchery, who announced a zero-tolerance policy regarding the mandatory mask laws on public transports. And while leniency was offered to the sector on seating capacity, it has so far been revoked in light of this latest development. A maximum of 10 individuals may occupy a public transport at any one time. The NCOPT president hopes that this will persuade minibus operators to run a tight ship.
Presently, going back to 10 or having us transporting 10 is a concern because profitability is just at zero. We are just offering a service doing that. So the concern is that operators are really down-spirited on the fact that they have to resort back to 10 and that there is a possibility that there might be islands community spread, which creates even a greater concern to the operators. Who has it? Who doesn't have it? But what this particular case has done is allow persons to know and see the importance of following the protocol.
That was President of the National Council of Public Transportation, NCOPT, Godfrey Ferdinand, and he also did wish the minibus operator who is now dealing with this viral infection a speedy recovery. We are due for our first break for the morning from these latest developments coming from the government of St. Lucia. When we come back, we get the latest from the Chief Medical Officer on our dengue situation here in St. Lucia. We've heard of the first death from this viral infection, dengue, and we'll be hearing after this break. Also, we have a statement from the Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, on the continuation of the school term amid our COVID situation. We also have the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, SSDF, extending the Our Boys Matter initiative. Do stay tuned for that story as well.
I want to transform St. Lucia.
I want to make my mark.
I want to make a difference.
Through research and innovation, we can transform our country.
Improve the lives of all St. Lucians and give our fair Helen the competitive advantage.
Research calls us to investigate, study, and reach new conclusions,
which allows us to innovate, to create new methods, ideas, products, and technology.
For more information, follow and like us on Facebook at St. Lucia NCPC, the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, embracing excellence.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now come to our dengue situation here in St. Lucia. The update to the nation as presented by the Prime Minister Honorable Alan Chasney, the Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George, and the Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Severin Marchery, not only spoke on our COVID-19 situation, but also the dengue situation, of which we have seen a person succumbing And we have a statement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness on St. Lucia recording its first dengue-related death last week. That was stated on 8th October 2020. And I read from the press release verbatim: the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to note increases in trends of dengue viral infection. In August 2020, the Ministry of Health declared an outbreak of the dengue fever, and to date St. Lucia has recorded a total of 540 confirmed cases. There has also been one reported dengue-related death. The individual is an adult male who was hospitalized after presenting with signs and symptoms of severe dengue infection. Although cases have been identified throughout the island, most of the confirmed cases are concentrated in the northern region in areas such as Castries, Grosley and Babonneau. The ages of confirmed cases range from 3 weeks old to 84 years old, with the age group 5 to 14 years accounting for approximately 39% of cases. We go to a clip from Dr. Sharon Belmar-George speaking on our latest situation, the response of the ministry so far, and also an appeal to the general public right now.
At the ministry, we've been increasing our entomological surveillance. Also, we've been doing the fogging, but as you could imagine, because we have so many communities that are affected all at the same time, it makes it very difficult for us to keep up in terms of the fogging. So we've started with the communities with the highest mosquito indices at this time. However, we really appeal to the public in terms of ensuring that you reduce the breeding grounds for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So we're asking for everyone to do a review in your surroundings, go around your home to look for the areas that the mosquito can be breeding. It's a domestic mosquito, so it tends to breed in clear, clean water. So your buckets, your drums, your flower pots, sometimes the guttering, anywhere where you have a collection of water could pose a higher risk for mosquito breeding and increased mosquitoes. So this is really critical, and we also urge the public that if you develop dengue fever and you're not improving, to go to one of the wellness centers closest to you to get care.
CMO Dr. Belmar-George. We now want to read a statement from the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development on the continuation of the school term in the midst of COVID-19. That is coming from the desk of Minister Honorable Dr. Gail T.C. Rigobert. And I read, today, Monday, October 12th, 2020, marks the 6th week since the commencement of the new academic year. On Monday, September 7th, 2020, when we welcomed our students and teachers back to the classrooms officially. Ahead of the reopening and in light of COVID-19, officials of the Department of Education met with many stakeholders to ensure that the reopening of school was done in a clinical, logical, and uncompromising manner. I would like to reassure everyone that the health and well-being of our students and school staff remain a paramount concern. In light of the most recent case of COVID-19, the Department of Education has been monitoring the situation and will continue to seek the advice and guidance of the Ministry of Health. We have always maintained that the situation remains quite fluid and that we stand prepared to take the necessary steps to safeguard the well-being of our children and school staff. We have heard from the health and medical experts that the coronavirus is very likely to be with us for a very long time. Therefore, we must be confident that as a nation, we have the capacity to make the required adjustments to this new normal, and this includes keeping our children informed and safe while teaching and learning continues. As Minister with responsibility for education, I therefore ask everyone, particularly our students, parents, teachers, and school personnel, to continue to obey the protocols, wear a mask when in public spaces, obey the physical distancing rules, and wash hands and sanitize frequently. It is also advisable to avoid mass crowd events as much as possible, and if children show any signs of illness, do keep them at home and seek medical attention if necessary. We have faith in our children, we love them, and we believe in them. With the continued support from parents, teachers, stakeholders, and communities, coupled with my government and the Ministry of Education's efforts, we will continue to ensure that no child is left behind in our delivery of a comprehensive, globally competitive, relevant, and affordable education. So that is the word from the Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Gail T.C. Rigobert, speaking in light of this latest case of COVID-19. We continue this morning with our updates from the government of St. Lucia. We have the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, SSDF, expanding its targeted mentorship program, Our Boys Matter, to District Education 6, that is V-Fort. The launch was marked by a brief signing ceremony last week, that was Thursday, 8th October 2020, at the V-Fort Comprehensive Secondary School, that's Campus B. We have a report on that. Take a look. The success of the Our Boys Matter program is directly tied to the success of the beneficiaries. That word from Dr. Alison Mathra, Executive Director of the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, SSDF, as he urged its new recipients to make the best of this support now made available in the south of the island. Our Boys Matter, a holistic mentorship program spearheaded by the SSDF, was officially launched in January 2019. In its pilot phase, the initiative offered 100 at-risk students educational assistance, meals, transport allowance, housing, and psychosocial support in the northern and western education districts. Now, in October 2020, the program extends to District Education 6, V-Fort. Parents of 3 students at the Comprehensive Secondary School Campus B signed the agreements during a brief ceremony on Thursday, the 8th.
I want the parents to understand that they're very privileged because there are a number of students, a number of schools. Even some of the schools that started the program, if they always want to add more boys, they have, of course, and I understand that everybody has boys that really fit the criteria. But we decided to come down here and invest our time and resources in you. And I certainly hope that you all will pave the way for the boys that will come after you to influence the SSDF to come on and take more boys from here.
Acting Principal of the V-Fort Comprehensive Secondary School, Ava Peter, welcomed the initiative in assisting the disadvantaged within its school population.
On behalf of everyone at V-Fort Comprehensive, I think this is a very touching day for all of us, and we definitely appreciate the SSDF as well as the Our Boys Matter initiative for considering V-Fort Comprehensive and for including us in this program.
Acknowledging the disproportionate underperformance of boys in the classroom, Education Officer for District 6, Stephen Auguste, lauded the program for addressing root causes beyond the education system.
To deal with issues of male underperformance, it is necessary to identify the specific issues that are holding back the performance of our males and to address those issues. It is against this background that we in District 6 applaud the work of SSDF with the program Our Boys Matter.
The Our Boys Matter program is a collaborative effort between the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, Massey Stores St. Lucia Limited, and the St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, Lucelec. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. More wonderful news from the SSDF. They have been assisting St. Lucians in diaspora, that organization, make a difference here at home. We'll be having that story in a subsequent broadcast, so do stay tuned for that. We are due for another break. When we come back, as St. Lucia CDF, the Cultural Development Foundation, is inspired by the National Day of Taiwan Lantern Competition to have its own lantern competitions, not only during the Christmas season. We have the details to that story in just a moment. We are coming to you live from the Finance Administrative Center from Point Seraphin in Castries. The program of activities puts us at day 2, and we have a panel discussion scheduled for this morning at 10 a.m. The theme being the education system, gaps, weaknesses, opportunities during and post COVID-19. And also at 8 p.m. and this evening we'll be having a video feature, the digital currency and cashless transactions, pluses and minuses for economic resilience. Stay with us. You're watching a special edition of The Morning Brew.
COVID-19 has been disastrous for our economy and our productivity.
But it has caused us to reset, rethink, and innovate.
Productivity Awareness Week 2020 will focus on building collective resilience in tourism, infrastructure, and the financial sector.
Rethink our approach to the agriculture, manufacturing, and the health sector.
It calls for innovation in education and taking advantage of opportunities in the digital economy.
Telework for greater resilience and productivity.
Join the discussions during Productivity Awareness Week from October 12th to the 16th.
Under the theme, Building Resilience Through Collective Action.
Reset, rethink,
innovate.
Join the discussions live on Facebook at St. Lucia NCPC, the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, embracing excellence.
So much for staying with us. Inspired by the National Day of Taiwan Lantern Competition, the Cultural Development Foundation has its sights set on additional lantern competitions, not just during the Christmas season here in St. Lucia. We have a report on a recent walkthrough at the CDF. The Cultural Development Foundation's collaboration with the Taiwanese Embassy for the well-received National Day of Taiwan Lantern Competition held in St. Lucia has reignited hope for an annual lantern event outside the festive season. It has long been a tradition in St. Lucia to create and display lanterns as part of a celebration to mark the start of the Christmas season. This competition event, Festival of Lights, is observed on December 13th, the day associated with St. Lucia or St. Lucy, the patron saint of light. Executive Director of the Foundation, Ramona Henry Wynn, says the response to the recent competition is inspiring.
If you would look around, you would see the excitement that came out of the creativity of the artist. The lanterns are a lot bigger, more extravagant. It's better than we've seen in past years. So for us, it's a wonderful opportunity, and it drives home the fact that we've been saying that we can do it out of the season because it has a place. And today has proven that the lanterns do have a place outside of the traditional Christmas season.
Henry Wynn further expressed that the CDF always lamented that lanterns had a place outside of the traditional season and platforms could be provided to display creativity. Lantern displays, she says, would be useful at events such as ark race, cruise and airports, craft shops and prominent spaces and places. Meantime, the CDF is pleased to team up with the Taiwanese Embassy for the lantern competition component of Taiwan's National Day celebrations here on island. St. Lucia gets to share its traditions, culture and talent, and the embassy gets to honor its country's observance.
The theme of this lantern competition or exhibition is proud of Taiwan and St. Lucia. So we want to use this opportunity to demonstrate, to showcase the cultural relationship between Taiwan and St. Lucia. And we are so happy that 12 artists selected by CDF participating in this competition.
Taiwan's National Day is observed on October 10th. St. Lucia's diplomatic relations with Taiwan date back to 1984. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. And we're now down to our final story update for the morning. Community Eye Screening Clinic for October 2020. The primary healthcare unit in the Ministry of Health informs the public that the Community Eye Screening Clinic will be available only on a Wednesday from 8 a.m. in the following communities for the month of October 2020. That is October 7th, Cicero Wellness Center, October 14th, the Deriso Community Center, October 21st, the Grosselet Human Resource Center, and October 28th, the Canneries Wellness Center. All persons coming to use the eye screening services must wear a mask and adhere to the rules of physical distancing. Before entering the facility, persons' hands will be sanitized with an alcohol-based solution. The Ministry of Health will continue to take necessary precautions to ensure the safety of all during this COVID-19 pandemic. And with that, we wrap up our morning. Our morning brew live on NTN. We're coming to you live from the Finance Administrative Center, and it's all part of activities to mark Productivity Awareness Week. And yesterday we had a splashing launch with entertainment, a very sobering word from the Honorable Prime Minister on the importance of productivity in our economy. And also we had a panel discussion yesterday and a video feature, and things continue. Day 2 of Productivity Awareness Week activities with a 10 a.m. panel discussion, and later on today an 8 p.m. video feature on the digital currency and cashless transactions, the pluses and minuses for economic resilience. Later on this week, we have tomorrow, day 3. At 10 a.m. we'll have the research of symposium theme, building economic and social resilience through digital transformation. At 2 p.m. Wednesday, we'll have a research symposium, and 8 p.m. another video feature. Thursday, continue with the panel discussions, the 10 a.m. panel discussions. 2 p.m. a panel discussion again on infrastructural resilience and St. Lucia's disaster risk financing strategy. How prepared is St. Lucia? And the usual video presentations at 8 p.m. The observance, the program of activities for the week will conclude on Friday with a panel discussion, the final panel discussion. Opportunities in the digital economy, innovating, building resilience, creating opportunities, new long-term jobs. And it will be capping off with a video feature, steps in setting up an online business. I know, especially in the space that we're now in, considering the limitations that the pandemic has put us into, we now need to think of new ways. We need to become innovative as to how we begin to enterprise and to sell St. Lucia and bolster our economy. So that's it for Productivity Awareness Week. We do hope you stick around. NTN will be carrying all of these activities live throughout the week. Just to go over the latest developments from the government of St. Lucia, Castries to Vieux Fort commuters are being urged, the Castries to Vieux Fort commuters who use public transport are being urged to get tested amid a possible COVID-19 community spread. We also got a word of arrangements being made for minibus operators to get tested, as we've seen this latest case of COVID-19 here in St. Lucia being a minibus operator. St. Lucia records its first death from the viral infection dengue. And we also had a statement from the Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, on the continuation of school in light of this circumstance, this latest case. The St. Lucia Social Development Fund extending its Our Boys Matter initiative to Vieux Fort. The Vieux Fort Education District and the Cultural Development Foundation is inspired to host lantern competitions outside of the holiday season. That's it for me. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I do hope you stay tuned to NTN. Again, we have the Productivity Awareness Week of activities that we're carrying live. We do hope you stay tuned for that during the course of the day. We do hope you enjoyed today. We hope it's productive for you. We hope it's enjoyable for you. My name is Jessie Leon, signing off for now. Goodbye.
Caro in Calypso Finals.
Remote control that.
Hi there, this is Caro, your 2019 Calypso Monarch. I am a living example that success comes through hard work and determination. You may experience some failures and you may have to press restart. If you do nothing and remain on pause, you definitely cannot be productive. Productivity measures how effectively you are getting the job done over how efficiently you are using your resources, like my writer and my skills. If you're not being productive as of now, it is time to change the channel. Stay productive, remain competitive, and let your remote control that. Tell them, King Tikaro say that.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, embracing excellence.